focusing on this challenge we've got in our hands, oil theft, pipeline vandalism. And as a matter of fact, I was even looking through some details. In fact, let me introduce our guest first. Mr. Olumide Ogunmade is the South West Zonal Coordinator of Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria.
Zonal Chairman.
Zonal Chairman. All right. Thank you for coming on this morning.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, well, taking a look at this pipeline vandalism, and there's so many figures which we get to see. Some the other day, the government was quoted to have said we lose about, trying to look at those figures again just to be sure is what it is, 105 billion naira annually to pipeline vandalism. And then we had the PPMC who said we lose what, 700 million naira weekly to this same scenario. You heard this time and again, and what strikes you when you hear it? Because there's some people who find it unbelievable. Now, this really happens, and not much. I mean, yeah, maybe they're doing something, but not enough to stop it.
Yes, I feel very sad when I hear things like that. You know, in fact, when I traveled and came back on Sunday, the first paper that I pick up to read, I saw that Arepo was vandalized again, and I felt very bad, terribly. These things should not be recurring every time and every time. We must find a solution to it. And if you lose such amount of money, even when they say even the figures are not equal, the two figures are are such big money that could be used in other areas. We have other sectors that need those monies. So how could we be losing such money, such on a way that we can avoid? So I feel very sad that it's happening in Nigeria.
Well, get to refresh your minds again, because there are several reports we've done on this about this pipeline vandalism to bring the attention of the authorities to see if they should actually, they need to really sit up and see what they can do about this. But let's take one of those reports, and then we'll always continue from there. All right, it's not there yet, but as one will think, they always have this impression that it's not the layman out there, or the average person who will go for this pipeline vandalism. The impression is you have to be skilled about this. You have to have information first that there's even something in that pipeline at the moment, because it's not all the time that they pump.
Definitely.
So it's inside the job. Yeah. You agree with some of those?
Yes, because there might be bad eggs. I won't say I totally disagree, because every sector you have bad eggs, but it's a syndicate job. Because for you to have the equipment to go in there,
and they need equipment.
Of course, definitely. To have information about when the products will get there. It's a highly syndicated, job. So I won't want to say whether it's an inside job or outside job, but I know that in every sector we have bad eggs, and it's really affecting the economy,
Do you think that there is a lot that there's anything that IPMAN can do to help salvage the situation?
Yes, we have done a lot in the past. For the past 30 years, IPMAN has been involved not only in the surveillance of the pipelines. We are also involved in major activities in the depots. So IPMAN has, we have bought over 30 ELOS vehicles for the surveying of the pipelines. We have bought motorcycles. We have, employed local, because these things are local. You might use the police, the force, but you need the local people, because they have information about what is happening in the environment. The host communities are also involved too. So IPMAN has been involved, in various ways. We have committed a lot of funds. We have lost, we have paid both the capital, and price for all this, So IPMAN has always been partnering with. The PPMC, because we see these assets not as government assets, but as our own assets too. Because this is where we do our business. We are currently living here. Most of our members.
I was even going to ask, how does pipeline vandalism affect IPMAN?
Yeah, because we rely solely on products from the depots, and
which is channeled through
through the pipelines. So that's why we owe it a duty for us to see that these pipelines are secured. And we have made various contributions, PPMC even can testify to that. We are ready to do that again. We are not tired, because we can't afford not to have the depots shut down. It's going to have a lot of socio-economic effects on the economy of Southwest in particular, and the nation in general, because Southwest, consume more than 60% of the national products, and we can't afford to have this thing. What happens here affects the whole country. That's why when you had problem at Erepo, every country was shut down.
We remember that in January last year there was a protest and then flurry of probes afterwards, and IPMAN was called to question. You know, a host of your members had to face different panels in terms of how they brought in product, in terms of how the products got here, and whether those products actually got to any petrol stations. And it would seem that, you know, the sector has been cleaned out over the years. You've seen some of your members, you know, not have any business again. Those people whom were referred to as briefcase businessmen maybe have been reduced to a minimum. Are you also looking at ways of helping to, say, streamline or thoroughly check to make sure that your members are not implicated in this particular scandal again?
As if we share the records, IPMAN members have not been involved, because we do educate our members and we let let them know the implication of being involved in such scandalous behavior. So you find out that nothing has been investigated to indict IPMAN members. IPMAN members are not involved in any of these theft that's going on. IPMAN members, they are not involved.
So you can vouch
I can vouch that if no member has been caught. You know.
All right, let's look at this report again, because so many issues actually do pop up when you see them, and we'll talk about some of them after this.
Once again, the country's attention has been drawn to this area, now becoming notorious for product vandalism and theft. Pipelines constructed in the early 70s now a source of major revenue loss to the country. The results are always damaging and always compelling top government functionaries to leave the comforts of their offices. On this occasion here in Arepo, the Group Managing Director of Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, is visiting to run a professional eye on the terrain and extent of damage by vandals.
So need a secure environment to operate. As you are aware, our mandate is to operate and maintain, but not to give security cover. And we're happy that we are collaborating with the security agencies to do so.
It's not all that difficult for us, but all we know that once the logistics are provided by the NNPC and what have you, you can see the terrain. From here, if you have to go to access the waters, how do we do that?
As of today, we have repaired this sufficiently for operations. We can go as we speak, but we've just made some observations, and we think we should also put in some additional measures that will deter further intervention with ease. So if we are able to accomplish that within the day, then of course we'll start later in the day or tomorrow, and which is still good enough to avert any fuel scarcity. Vandals should know that with this attention, I think this is time up for them. Also require the support of the judiciary to ensure that we follow through and criminals are actually brought to book to deter others.
Everyone is talking about collaboration, but no one seems to be taking the lead. An area surveillance of the affected area by Channel's TV crew is indicative of the stretch of the affected area and the possible solution. Question again is, given that the pipes are buried, there are few exits when vandals struck. Who's working to apprehend these vandals? Who is patronizing them? In whose community is this happening? At what speed? Who is providing the technological support? How are the loots conveyed and transported? Definitely a superior strategy has to be calibrated. And can we begin to see actual collaborations other than calls for it? Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.